Hey there, friends. Welcome to Down to Watch, the podcast that asks, are you down to watch? And what you will always find here is pop culture talk. I'm your host, Kahmeela, here to review and dissect movies and TV and music, or just blah, blah, blah about them. And this is the final episode of our 6-episode series that we are discussing the Walking Dead spinoff, The Ones Who Live. And I am joined by my lovely co-host from Revisiting Sunnydale and also YouTuber on her own time, Marcella.
Hello, hello, hello. Nice to see you again.
Likewise, and I'm sad this is the last one for the Ones Who Live. That's like, what am I going to do?
Why only 6?
I know, like, what am I supposed to do now on Sunday night? On Sundays,
I'm supposed to watch Daryl. I don't want to.
No.
Supposed to watch Negan. I don't want to.
No. But at least in this episode, so I guess, we got our answers that the CRM is trash, which is why, so now we know why Rick and Michonne weren't really like super keen on bringing the whole family there. Well, at least Beale is trash, I guess. So he's
Beale
just like a rogue.
Yeah. I guess. Like,
still not 100% clear. Yeah, still not 100% clear. We'll get into that. So, but now I see that Daryl is getting a second season and Maggie and Negan are getting a second season. Do we want another season of Rick and Michonne? Or has the story, have we been told a complete story?
Okay, I do not want another season of The Ones Who Live.
Mm-hmm.
What I want is a mega season, a new show of The Walking Dead. I want Daryl's show to end with season 2. I want Maggie and Negan to end with their season 2. And I want everyone to come together in a Walking Dead Avengers-style event or season where we finish all this off.
Okay.
Because there's some important things. Yeah, tie it all together, figure out what we're going to do, because we learned some important shit from Beale in this episode.
14 years is his estimate that,
we suddenly have a clock. Like, this shit's ticking. And we got to figure out what we're going to do.
And I need just like
a wrap up.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else is thinking about that enough. Like, I feel like Rick and Michonne could have discussed that a little bit more. Or we could have gotten that in, like, in the end when we had the little voiceover from the, the announcement from the, I don't know, whoever is the announcement guy for the CRM. But yeah, 14 years is what he guestimates is what's left
that's why
for the human race.
That's why I think it's not over. Because in that little thing, instead of that little thing, they would have just given us like a flash forward, happily ever after type of thing. And we don't get that.
Yeah, I guess instead of the whole clearing it all up, it's like, all right, so the CRM is like, oh, we weren't working with Beale. He's not really one of us. Now everybody is free to go as they please. We'll help communities that we come across as opposed to destroying them and using them for resources. God.
I'm not so sure I was clear on the fact that they really weren't allowed to come and go as they please. Like, I knew they were kind of in these cities, but I didn't know they were locked in these cities. Like, I didn't know, like I knew Rick wasn't allowed to leave.
Right.
But I didn't know, like, French fry guy wasn't allowed to leave.
Well,
or
yeah.
Water maintenance guy wasn't allowed to leave.
I think that was kind of implied with Okafor, or he kind of hinted at that, and just some of the things that he said to Rick. And it's, it's difficult. We only got Okafor for one episode, and his voice is so damn intoxicating. Like, I was barely listening to the words that came out of it.
Right. And there were several key moments in this one that stood out.
Yeah.
But what was your favorite?
Oh, I think it has. I think it's the elevator scene. What?
Like the Rick and Michonne part of the elevator scene?
I think the whole thing, from the moment that Rick gets on the elevator to when Michonne asks him, is this yours? Like, because when he gets on the elevator, that's so fucking uncomfortable. First of all, he's like,
oh my God.
Fuck. And like,
why
is it taking?
Looking down.
Right.
down.
He would have been fine.
Down. Just mind your business.
Just look straight ahead. He would have been fine. That dude wasn't really paying attention to him until Rick kept looking down on the ground. Why did it take so long in between floors? Like, just like a ding, and then like 10 minutes later, ding. Like, what is this?
The only thing that would have made that scene better was if it had been more like the Captain America Winter Soldier scene, where like every floor it stopped on, another person got on.
Right.
Maybe just like a little bigger.
Right. Exactly.
And then had Michonne get on at the final level, and like that would have been amazing.
Yeah. So what would be your favorite?
I think my favorite might have been the look on Judith's face when she hugged her dad. Like, that baby.
I know. Because, like,
she was just so happy.
Yeah, because, I mean, and when you think about it, like, because it started to dawn on me, it's like, oh, yeah, you know, she's probably forgetting what he looked like after so long, because they don't have photos. They don't have all of that good stuff. And then RJ is like sizing him up, like, yo, you're the brave man. So,
you?
This guy?
After all this time? Like, I don't know. Negan was just fine. I kind of like Negan. We kind of got used to him.
But yeah.
Because from everything I see, Negan loves Judith, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a lot.
He was like really going to bat for her a lot, like saved her life a couple of times, and they were like, you know, buddies as he was sitting in the cell. She's like chatting him up outside the window. He's helping her, quote unquote, with her homework. And but still,
that's precious.
He shouldn't have stayed. He should have died. Just
well, if he had died, we would never get the eventual reunion scene between Rick and Negan. And they need to tell Rick how many times he saved Judith's life before they have that reunion.
I guess. I mean,
he's
then
gonna
also
be like, wait a minute, I saved your life from her, and now you two are friends. Like, there's so much that they can explore in a new season that
Rick
I'm
to
here
catch
for
up
it.
with. Because I mean, well, Rick, it was his decision to keep Negan alive, and so I remember Maggie was really pissed at him for that for a while.
So was Daryl.
Yeah. And then, I don't know. It's interesting. I almost feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of perfect right now. And I'm like, let it go. Let me have this.
It depends on what happens with these two new seasons, where the Book of Carol ends up going, which the only way to get me to watch Daryl is bring back Carol. Yeah, you damn sons of bitches.
I know.
You sons of bitches.
Contemplating the other day, I was like, am I going to have to go ahead and watch this? No.
Now, you told me your favorite moment. What was your least favorite?
Fucking Thorn, man. Like, I mean, there were a lot of great moments like that, but
that's
the first. But yeah.
What's the point of Thorn? What is the point of Thorn?
I don't understand. Like, she just seems like the biggest Richonne hater. That's what it basically boils down to for me. And she's just like really upset. Like, she's pissed about them bringing it down because I guess, you know, she really believes in this, or she just really wants a better, quote unquote, better life. She wants to bring the world back. She's just so broken at this point. And I guess, you know, we've been told that she lost her love, or whoever she loved, she lost and she gave up. And so she's just not here for any sort of happiness for Rick and Michonne. She's like, no, if I couldn't do it, you guys don't get it. You know, you don't get to.
But then after it all comes down, she's just like, well, fuck it. Here, you might as well take my mask. I just
like,
here.
Wow. It's like, oh, okay. So just that easy.
Okay. Fine.
Just all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, you know what? Okafor was right. Beale was wrong. why didn't you come to this conclusion before we had to kill you? Like,
you're like a yo-yo, like too many back and forths.
Yeah.
Mine is a tie, and they both have to do with Beale.
Okay.
Number one, I did not get a sword fight with Michonne and Beale.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have been
Missed
great.
Opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But even bigger than that, we find out that Beale betrayed Pittsburgh for food.
So for those of you who don't know,
Hey.
For those of you who don't know, Marcella and I currently reside in Pittsburgh, and I'm not from here originally, but I've been here for over 20 years. Marcella, born and bred, basically, and so yeah, that touches a soft spot. that I'm a little offended by his choice. Offended.
Yeah, and I'm tired of zombie shows bringing up Pittsburgh's name. Keep Pittsburgh's name out your mouth. You made the crazy man in Last of Us the people eater from Pittsburgh.
Right. Yeah.
And now we got this bullshit.
It's like, what is the word on the street about Pittsburgh and Hollywood? Like with among these writers and stuff.
Who in Pittsburgh hurt Hollywood?
Right.
In like the 30s.
I thought we've been very cordial to y'all when you come here to shoot things. Like,
right?
I thought we worked it out.
Benefits. Like, I just don't understand. But yeah, that pissed me off. That like stopped me in my tracks. Both my mom and I were like, seriously, another Pittsburgh reference in a show, and it's got to be shitty. What's that about? But I also feel
it's just damn
like
rude.
It is rude, and I just don't understand why we set Beale up to be such a badass, and then just nothing.
All we really get from him is just this monologue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, so yeah, we find out. Yeah, and technically, he's the bad egg. He's the one that's really like, just like, fuck him. I'm making sacrifices left and right for the greater good. But still, like, it just seems like a waste of Terry O'Quinn.
Mm-hmm. Seems like a waste of Terry O'Quinn. Like, it seems like he only signed up for it so he could walk around as a zombie.
Right. He's like, I get to walk around as a zombie. But also, I gotta say, for a hot second there, that beautiful framed shot of him when they come back from break and he's like, put your gun on the table. It's giving me Dom Daddy. And I'm
for a split second I was like, is this the new 50 Shades of Grey? Is something about to happen here? This is
because I was like on my way out the room to go, and he just it stopped me in my tracks. I was
yes, sir. And Rick even looked at him like, I think I'll do it. I'm gonna do it. And I love his, like, even after all, like, that huge monologue, and he gives the echelon briefing, which, wow, what's going on with them? Huh. Okay.
You guys are really just, this echelon briefing.
That's what we're here for.
So look, this is what we're going to do. Like, we're going to bomb a bunch of fucking cities for their resources and domination, and then we're going to gas Portland.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And take their kids.
And,
right? Yeah, not all the kids, just a few.
Not all the kids, just a few, the smartest ones.
Right.
And Michonne is sitting in on the briefing while he's watching and she's just like, oh fuck no,
she's so upset.
And did you notice that she didn't even try to stealthily get up out of there? She walked in front of the projector and her whole body went across the screen, and nobody said boo about it.
Right. I was so I feel like you guys have a lot more there's a little more this doesn't seem like the type of environment, or these are the type of people that just allow their soldiers just to go in and out of these briefings just all willy-nilly. Right. Like, it seems like it should be a little more regulated. It's like, first of all, you were late. Secondly, you leave early. Like,
right.
And
obviously, we should have heard at least one person say soldier.
Right.
And like her have to put somebody down outside or something.
Yeah.
You know?
But she's just I was also very when she gets to Jadis's apartment, I promise you, nobody was going to find that dossier.
No.
Any one of those soldiers would have taken one look at that place and just brought in a trash bag and just started scooping stuff out. Nobody was going to look for shit.
No, but especially not a cat's butt.
Yeah, and where she actually finds this, she finds initially, this is a callback to when Jadis was junk lady, when she was trash lady, when they came back there and Michonne, I guess, took her cat, or Rick took it for Michonne, and Jadis wanted it back, and they gave it back to her. So, and it's just like, really like, wow, Jadis, that's a real fuck you, but okay.
You really love that cat. Like, you really love that cat.
Like, seriously, like, you brought it on the helicopter with you back to your quarters?
Which means we should have had a scene where Richonne took that cat. That cat needed to
She should have had that cat on the helicopter. That's what
she should have given that cat to RJ as a toy. That would have been the best. Because I don't think I've ever seen a character, except Merle, have so much hate in their heart for another character that Michonne had for Jadis. She just flat out hated her.
Absolutely. Like with
she didn't even shed a tear over her death.
Just may as well just like stepped over her body and just moved on.
Ready to go? Well, I'm pretty sure she's wearing her armor when they get back to the city. I'm like, because where else did she get it? That had to have been Jadis's armor.
True, but also, how could she fit it? Jadis is so tall.
It should have been a little baggy. Like, it definitely should have been a little baggy.
And with the way she did, and when she decides to just like rip, she's just overcome with rage, I guess. She rips up the dossier right there. It's like, that's not the best place to do this, because you're leaving bits and pieces still. Like, unless you plan on eating it, I need you to not like go set it on fire somewhere else.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, you would have been better to just leave it, like you said, because no one would have found it.
No one was going to find it.
Take it with you. Yeah. Why are you ripping it up there? Because now that is curious. At least she did scrape up, I think, everything, but she just needed a moment. She needed a minute. She needed the physical release of ripping it up.
Exactly, because Jadis is already dead, so she couldn't do anything else. It's like, I would kill her again. I would do it again.
And man, Trash Lady had tiny writing and could get a lot of words on a page. And she spilled a lot of tea in a short amount of paper. Like,
seriously,
she laid it all out. She wasn't kidding.
Like,
except, did you notice how fast the camera cut? I meant to go back and kind of freeze it, where it said, like, my deal with Rick. Like,
yeah, me too.
What was your deal with Rick?
That's what I meant to do, too.
But the camera was like, meh.
Nope, we're not going to talk about it. We're just...
Like, kind of a bitch.
It's like, you keep going on about this deal, and I don't think I'm not getting specifics, and I don't like it. Oh, one of the things that really bugged me, and like I understand symbolism and everything, but Rick leaving his
hand?
Yeah.
Sir. That's a useful weapon.
You were still literally fighting for your life.
Right.
Like, if you want to leave it behind
today, like, at least leave it after this is over. Like,
yeah, once you've completed the mission, then go ahead and leave it behind if that's what you want to do. But
because it would have been useful when you were
swarmed by zombies, in a corner, and yeah. So Rick, choices is timing, bruh. Just timing. Just gotta think it through. Like, you want to be like real, I don't know. And okay, whatever. So yes, that really upset me. And it took me forever to as the first time I'm watching, I was like, was there a point? Like, is there a reason? Why did he leave it behind? Did I miss something? Did I miss it? Was there a big, nope. No. It's just Rick
symbolic.
being
I do think another favorite moment might have been Beale realizing he done fucked up.
The look on his face was like, Rick is trying. He's trying to like keep it together as Beale is talking. And at one point, like, he's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna have to. And then Beale's like, no.
Too late. It's too
You
late.
have flipped the switch. You have flipped the switch. And one of the things, like these two things that Beale is asking Rick and just like trying to like really get into him. He, like one of the first thing he asks him is like, "What's the worst thing you did to save somebody that you loved?" And Rick's like, "I killed a man with my teeth."
And they had to show it to us, didn't they?
And I don't know. Like, first, Beale's response, like his verbal response is, "I'm sorry you had to do that." But then when the camera shows him, there's this look on his face like, yee.
Yeah. Like he didn't expect it to be quite that bad.
Right. It's like, oh, you're like that. You're one of those.
Yeah.
And then he fucked up by asking, like, who's the closest person you lost in all this, and bringing, like, and then Carl gets brought up into it. And then Beale does offer, he's like, you know, this place, it's fine. What if I let you bring in anybody you want to? I don't give a shit. You know, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. And I need you to be my second-hand guy. And eventually you'll be able to take over. Like, you'll be head, blah, blah, blah. And like, you can bring in all your people. I don't care.
Mm-hmm. Which is why we were like, you could have just asked. Like,
initially,
all the time,
yeah. Like, because it kind of seems
and now
like
we know what you're going to do is too late. How did you like the I didn't check, but did the internet go crazy about who's the closest person you've ever lost, and he didn't say my wife and child?
No, I didn't notice that, but yeah.
He only said my son.
And I did make, when it happened, I made a note of it. It was like, yeah, that's right. It's just one you, Lori. One you.
Still not Lori.
Yep. Checks notes. Yep. Yeah. Lori was just, she wasn't it. She wasn't it. It took an apocalypse for him to find out that his wife was trash.
And I'm surprised that the worst thing he's ever done was ripping out a man's teeth and not having to shoot his best friend, like kill his best friend.
I mean, in all honesty,
to me, a little more emotional.
Well, I appreciate that, you know, they did a nice little flash, because I mean, Rick had a lot to choose from. They did the nice little montage there as he's thinking about it. It's like, carry the one. There's a lot. And yeah, him having to kill Shane, that would have been an emotional situation, given their history and who he was and who Shane stood for. Just the fact that how Shane, like, fucking turned on him. Like, it wasn't even, I think that's the worst part about Shane, was that it was kill or be killed where he was concerned for him. And
had
just,
to
like,
do it.
Yeah, like for Rick having to just had realized, like, this motherfucker is really trying to single white female me. Like, what is happening right now? And he is for real about it. And
now he went with jugular rip, which
that shit was rough. I don't
know
like
how it is.
That's one of the
it hurts
only
my teeth just thinking about it.
That's one of the main kills that I remember, like, to this day. Like, that'll always be there, and it's always, you know, dude from, you know, Rack from Buffy, because he always plays the worst possible human being there is. But but that shit was rough. And then I had seen an interview with Denai, and somebody asked her, when did she think that Michonne fell in love with Rick, and she said it was that moment. Which I had been thinking for the longest time as well. I was like, oh, Rick.
I love it. Nice. You know, it's does he almost immediately need that hand in the elevator? Like, that hand would have come in handy in the elevator, right? Like, he doesn't have it then.
No, he has it then, because that's how he punches that guy to death.
Oh, that's right.
He breaks through the helmet. Yeah.
That's right. And it was a bit too much for me. That's why I forgot, because he could have stopped long before he did.
Yeah. Like, Rick when Rick gets emotional in these fight situations, man, he really takes it to a whole nother level, because there are some times where he just loses it. Like, he just blacks out, and Rick gets grimy, and he is just ready to pulverize anything in his wake. And
it was too much.
It was a lot. And even, like, when Michonne rolls up on him and he's, like, all wild, she's like, Rick, it's me. Calm the fuck down. Relax.
And he's just covered in blood. Like, seriously, I leave you alone for 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Oh, God.
But there was one thing that did confuse me at the beginning of the episode, though, is they did seem to get back in awfully easily.
Seriously. Like, really? You guys are just really this far up Rick Grimes' ass that you're just like, oh my God. Even Thorne was just like, oh, like almost to the point of tears. She's like, you're alive. I'm so glad to see you. Like, since when have you been emotional about anything, especially Rick? And then just everyone's just like, hey, you know what? You were dead and you came back, and nobody questions it. Nobody is like, that doesn't seem, that's not the Rick Grimes we know that we've been pulling back for 6 years, that we have had to like go out and snatch. We've had to keep on a leash for like several years.
Cut off his own hand to get away.
Right.
But okay.
It makes no sense.
Come on in, buddy. And then Michonne shows off some parkour skills I didn't know she had. Getting on that roof.
She like picked up some stuff like this. Things you learn in the zombie apocalypse.
Or things you practice in the Bed Bath & Beyond when you're locked in there for a year with nothing to do.
Speaking of, did she just take a bunch of candles and that's where like she and Rick got all those candles?
I think so. I think so, because otherwise, what's in their pack?
No idea.
But they do get, I'm glad that we do get a little bit of kissy time.
Yeah.
In the CRM.
Are we talking about like when we see them in their romantic haven?
No, when they're doing the most dangerous work I would never in a million years do. Why do we have to do that? Can we not just like push the box of grenades in? I'm not putting fishing line on a grenade. Like, I'm not. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, the plan was spot on, was immaculate. Like, it was a wonderful plan, and
it is a really good plan.
And even Rick was like, how did you come up with this? And she's just like, I was inspired by something or another. But and it just, like, luckily he had an extra zombie too. Like, he killed that other guy. He's like, all right, great, now we got two, and this is what we're doing, and you better walk. And they walked, bitch, up and down the way.
Yeah. Yeah. They each had their own little, except I don't know. I didn't really understand having them walk opposite directions.
I don't know what. Yeah, I didn't understand the layout either. Like, it looked like I thought we just needed them to. I don't know.
I thought they just had to go into the crowd. Like, I thought it was going to be like Thorne walks out of the tent into the briefing. Everybody loses their mind, but it would be too late to stop because the pin would get pulled and they'd all die. But then it went awry because Thorne decided to be Thorne.
Because I'm so glad that Rick and Michonne are so in sync, because that could have ended terribly, and that they were just like right on point when they go back there holding hands, which was adorbs, and then, you know, as soon as they see Beale, they're like, break, and she's like she's like covers them with water and covers them with a tent, and it's like, it's okay, it'll break up fast, it's fine. And Rick's like, what is happening? What is this?
And even for a minute, I was like, oh, okay, that's one way we could have, I guess everybody's just dead now. Even Rick and Michonne. I'm like, I guess we just all died. That's because that's a big explosion, and I'm still not sure the amount of water they put on each other.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. It was really, it doesn't make sense to me. Also, Rick pulling the pin on that grenade while he's like covered in zombies, like, and he untouched, unscathed, like there's no, he's got nothing. Like, I don't know, but sure, let's do that.
I'm telling you, if this entire show ends up being like Rick's coma dream and he wakes up back at the beginning of the show, I'm gonna lose my shit. See, I will.
I am going to go to Scott Gimple's house.
I will lose it. Because that's how we started this whole series, with him in a coma.
Yeah. No, that is unacceptable. I don't. Nope. No.
The only thing that would make it better is if Michonne was his nurse when he woke up. That's it.
No. I can't. I can't with this.
It's going to be like that Nick Cage. Was it Nick Cage where he could see the future? And it'll just be like Final Destination. It all hadn't happened yet.
Oh, God.
Then he has to make better choices.
Okay, this is ridiculous. No, I refuse to entertain this thought any longer.
There's Glenn and there's Abraham. All in the Abraham is an orderly at the hospital, and Glenn is a doctor.
Glenn is anesthesiologist.
We've just written the end of Walking Dead, everybody.
Oh, God.
I will lose my shit, though, if that does happen.
No, I refuse.
Seriously, like, check, Marcella. We wrote it right here. Like,
right.
First, don't steal our idea.
Right. If you're gonna do this, if you're gonna cop out and do this, give credit where credit's due and checks where checks are due. So the reunion. So God, there was a moment. Like, as they were preparing for their big explosion, Rick is like he is so stressed about the kids, about seeing the kids again. And he's like, I miss so much of their lives, blah, blah, blah. And Michonne's just like, calm down. Relax, please. And when they're on the helicopter, he's just like shaking. And she kind of calms him. And then once they finally get off the helicopter, he runs to them with her, but then he hangs back. And lets her embrace them both, and they all have their moment, and he's just back there all awkward and just like waiting to be tagged in. And
Judith says, "Mom."
Oh, that poor baby. I feel like there should have been more hysterical tears. It's been a long time not knowing one way or the other, and especially from RJ, like RJ, like, sir, can I get you to emote a little bit?
Yeah,
like, this kid is cute. And all, he's cute, and I'm sure he was fine when he was like 5 when they brought him on originally or whatnot. Not a good actor. I'm not.
No,
I don't like saying that about children a lot, but he was not able to hold the emotion necessary for this scene, for this moment.
He wasn't. He brought it to a screeching halt.
He did.
Even Judith, to some extent. Now, I know from like clips and stuff that I've seen of Judith that she's very kind of even-tempered.
Yeah.
Normally. So I wasn't really expecting an overt show of emotion from her, but we got a little bit more than I was normally, you know. But he brought it to a screeching halt.
It's like, I knew you would come back because I believed. We want to do one more line reading, just one more. Let's just try to see if he can get a little bit better.
And of course, the thing that it makes me think of is Ceely's son in Color Purple. It's just like, Mama.
Oh,
you had one line, sir. One line. And that's the way you delivered it? That was the tone you went with?
That's what you chose, huh?
All right.
Okay. Okie dokie.
And that's what RJ has. Is it Rick Jr.? Is that his name?
Yeah. Rick Jr.
Not Richard Jr.? Like, actually Rick
Jr.? I mean, it's the apocalypse. Does anybody really fuck around with like real formalities anymore?
Birth certificates. Social security cards.
Right. Yeah. Nobody has social security numbers. Like, these kids.
Nope. No. Best thing about the apocalypse, no taxes.
Right. Seriously. So
now watch the CRM be like, you have to file your taxes for the past 10 years. Now that we're back in business, we're gonna need you to file.
It's like, what do I claim, the chickens or like the fucking squirrels that the roadkill that I've been like? What, we made some some sorghum. We planted that.
Right.
We managed.
Right.
I didn't want me to pay these taxes in bullet casings. Like this is.
I need a discount for every walker I've killed since this has started. Then
Seriously.
for helping,
Seriously.
I need some. So
Right.
this whole 14-year thing. Now that they're reunited, this is the outlook that they have. They're living on borrowed time.
Right.
If we believe the CRM scientist. Now, if we remember back at the end of season 1, that guy at the CDC said that the French were close to finding a cure.
So is that what
But then I
Daryl's
guess
doing?
maybe.
Because
But
I
I
like
guess
to
then
believe.
he said the city fell.
But I'd like to believe that Scott Gimple has every corner covered. You know,
It has
like,
to. I need an end game.
Yeah, like I need, like he's been dropping breadcrumbs all over the place. Like this whole CRM bit, like we saw like the helicopter through the Walking Dead like 3 or 4 times before we got any real answers. And even then it was still just like, oh, Jadis is being taken away in a helicopter to God knows where. And she's taking Rick with her. No idea what that's about. And then we have to wait 6 years before we find out. So, yeah.
And I didn't watch The World Beyond, but is that the story of Portland? Is that what was happening in that show?
I guess I refuse. I won't.
I'm not. I can't. There's too much.
No, that and Fear, I'm not doing it. I'll do a soft, I
was gonna say, does anybody know of a good recap video that we could just watch at all?
Like even that, like I don't even know if I care enough about that. But I will just do like, a slight commitment to Daryl, Maggie, and Negan, maybe in the background or something. I don't know, because I really I'm still mad at Maggie for the way she treated Michonne a lot. The person she turned into, I understand who she grew into, and she got a little bit harder, but she didn't have to be so just to turn it off for everybody around her, and and also the whole her befriending Negan basically. It doesn't seem, that's not plausible. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, you literally beat the love of my life to death in front of me. I'll never get over that.
No,
I don't care.
Ever.
I know you saved my
and
son,
mocked him.
baby.
And mocked him.
While his eyeball was hanging out.
Yeah. That shit is gross. I mean, it's funny. It's entertaining television. But I
would have been so horrible in that situation on both sides of it, because both sides of the situation I would have laughed and been embarrassed. Even on my knees as a captor, yes, I would have laughed. And as one of Negan's stooges, I would have outwardly laughed. Burn.
Oh. R.I.P. Glenn.
R.I.P. Glenn. I'm so sorry.
And Abraham. He is now and forever will be known as Red.
Now, I did see the internet figured out the timeline. Gabriel did not cheat on Rosita.
Oh, thank you, internet. I appreciate that.
But they also said it might have been as soon as a day after she died. So,
not better. But okay.
Not bad. Yeah, better, but not better. How about a year?
Because you were lucky to have pulled Rosita in the first place, Gabe.
But the internet on a whole confirms that it is post her death.
Okay, appreciate y'all. So so in my hypothesis of things to come in the future, if they are going to bring us back to Richonne, and I feel like I didn't read it, I didn't look into it, but I think that as one of the clickbaits was Andrew Lincoln hints to a Rick and Daryl reunion. So I don't know what's happening, but my guess is during this reunion, Michonne is already pregnant. Michonne is pregnant, and they're gonna have a baby girl and name her Carla. That's what's gonna
That would be
happen.
amazing. That'd be amazing. But with a C or a K?
I think a C. I think a
Because
K is just
it's got to be a
pretentious.
little different. A little different from Carl.
Carla with a K just feels weird. Like it's like Carl with a K. It's like ugh, like it's something
I knew
trashy
a Carla
about
in
it.
high school with a K.
Feels a little trashy to me. I don't know why. I don't have reasons for it. That's just how I feel in my gut. So all in all,
well, there's definitely no protection in the zombie. Like they definitely didn't have condoms, so she's totally pregnant.
Even if they did, those fuckers broke. Like they were old and busted a long time ago. So Michonne's preggers, guys, because they were going at it like a lot. There was like a lot, and rightfully so. Making up for lost time. I get it. It. Rick is super hot, even when he's all crazy and sweaty and covered in blood. God.
I am a little curious about the time span between him being covered in blood and them seeing the kids again. Because they've had a shower, got some new clothes.
He got his boots back. She got that little crop top thing going on. Yeah, looking all sassy. Like, I love it. Like, all Mother Earth. Like, I love it. I love what she's dressed in.
But where did they get this stuff?
If he got his boots back, and I didn't notice, but she should have her katana back. If he got his boots back.
She does have a sword on her. She does have a sword on her back, but he also gave her Beale's sword.
Yeah. That busted ass sword. No, I think it's her katana. Looking at the handle. I think it's her katana.
looking at the katana. Because they left it with Nate, right? Or with Nat.
They did, and then the soldiers took everything to
the base.
Yeah,
so did they just hang around the burning up CRM to explain it to the not bad CRC people? Like, hey, we kind of blew these guys up. Everything's okay.
I imagine, CRC because the last time we see them in that space, they're standing on top of that storage unit on the storage lockers and the shipping containers, and so I would imagine they had to get airlifted off of that because they were surrounded by walkers at that point. So obviously,
which I'm like, what'd you go up there for? Well, they did run from. I thought they got away from there because they started running across the tops of the shipping containers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I thought they just ran from top to top and then
eventually
got out.
Yeah,
but yeah, whose helicopter did they take to get back to Alexandria?
But even though, they weren't flying it, but that kind of explosion brings some sort of attention. So somebody who was in charge or something called somebody, or, there had to have been one or two survivors maybe who radioed in the appropriate authorities. But, I don't know who, I guess, the whole voiceover of the CRM, we're good now. Hey, we want to help people now. It's just this is their gesture of goodwill. It's like, okay, we'll take you back to your kids. And how long was the pilot going to sit there?
Right.
It's like, stop being a creeper. Just let them have their moment. Go on.
Right. And I'd just like to point out that once again, Rick came into a situation and fucked everything up.
Well,
there's no more fries.
You don't know that.
I bet you Fry Guy exploded. No, I bet you Fry Guy had to go to work and was a soldier, and he probably got exploded.
No more fries. If anything,
no more fries, because that area is covered in mustard gas.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how big the space was or how close it was, but yeah, it's probably safe to say that whatever their little area, their little market square is done.
It's done. There's another community. So the people that weren't in on the echelon briefing, that just thought life was safe here at the CRM, are now suddenly, thanks, Rick. Thanks, Grimes. The history books are going to sing of how many communities you've destroyed.
Maybe that's what that writing on that wall was. Rick Grimes, 68 communities.
68 communities and counting. I need someone to write a shanty about Grimes.
So suffice it to say. But, you know, it's if we never hear another peep about Richonne again, I am satisfied with what Denai and Andy and Scott have brought us. These 6 almost perfect episodes of the Richonne story. I am grateful, and I will take it, and I will rewatch it. And maybe it'll be an annual Valentine's Day rewatch for me. Rick calls the Richonne story an epic love story. He's like, it's like Titanic with zombies. It's like, that's a hell of a tagline, Andy.
That is a hell of a tagline. I mean, they did. You jump, I jump.
Yeah. But at least Michonne did not punk out. She didn't leave him behind. She made room for him on her door.
She did. And even when she thought, like, oh, she was freaking out when she thought he was dead with all those zombies. Ooh. I did not come all this way
to lose him now. To this, like this, not like this, not like this.
I'm happy with it. I thought it was great.
So so that's that. Like, we have we've gone down this road, this journey, this 6-episode journey. This was The Ones Who Live, episode 6, The Last Time, is what.
And you were right. It did kind of make a complete sentence, all of the episode titles.
Yeah.
In the end.
Which, I mean, what is it? Like, years gone by, what we become the last time. I feel like it should have been in the end. Instead of the last time.
Makes me think there's like an episode missing.
Yeah. Like,
and the only other thing that we never touched upon was, where is Morgan? Because
he floated around between like series to series. Like, he went to Fear for a while.
He did. And apparently his last appearance on Fear, he said he was going to look for Rick. That was his last thing, is he was going to find Rick Grimes. It's
not your job, though, Morgan. Like,
But also, you're not real good at it, so stop. Because you've been looking for a while, and he could have used your help several times.
Yeah.
What you doing? Where are you?
Where you been? What's going on? Like how, Morgan, are you going to find him? Like, you've got 0 to work on.
You should have kept your wife and given her a shirt. She'd have found him faster than you are. She kept finding your butt every night.
Seriously, that's just so weird. Like,
it is still so weird.
That's still a part of, like, I feel like they still hadn't worked out the kinks on what the zombies were supposed to, what the zombies were able to do and not do any longer. Because, like, her just returning back to the house every night, it didn't seem, especially if they're not making any noise, like, just because, no, that doesn't really jive with the rest of the canon, but okay.
No.
Yep.
But I want more. I don't want this to be the end of the Richonne story. It could use a little more.
A little bit. You know what? I'd be happy to just fucking Richonne, just normal days. Like, let's what does Rick look like with almost teenage Judith and kids now, and just letting him, you know, and then Richonne is pregnant, and he gets to, like, you know, dote on her during her pregnancy, and he's changing diapers, and he's up in the middle of the night. You know, let's just see that Rick on the porch. Rick, he's earned this. They both have earned
You bring up a good point. What's going to happen for Judith? There's not a lot of kids in this.
Like, there were a few in the community that we left Judith in at the end of The Walking Dead.
Is that why we only have 14 years? Because there's only like 6 kids and half of them are related to each other in some way?
There are a bunch of kids. But we still got, you know, the whole United of States-ish, sort of. Apparently these people just, like, float around from city to city. Easy peasy. They don't give a shit.